I did what any normal person would do. I drove down to Miami to meet up with a Cuban and Brazilian daddy-son couple and shot liquefied meth into my rectum.
Welcome back
to Overcoming Drug Abuse. This is part 3. I'm Gustavo and I'm here with my boy Fat Cat, my buddy. So this is the first time that I actually do it without like the light here. So I'm doing it with natural lighting. So hopefully it looks super cute or whatever.
My hair's doing its own thing today and I'm here for it.
I was trying to rehearse and like, I don't feel like it. So I'm just gonna do this as messy as possible. Let's begin from the top. You guys ever see the movie Soul by Disney? Well, you know the part where the lost souls are like going through the desert and they're just wandering and roaming aimlessly, looking for things or blah, blah, blah. When I saw that, I was like, that's me. I recognized that mental plane, just like when the souls were like playing the piano or acting or doing something that they love. I immediately identified with both things. So let's talk a little about cognitive dissonance. One of the many internets
states that cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change.
Also, cognitive dissonance
is a theory in social psychology. It refers to the mental conflict that occurs when a person's behaviors and beliefs do not align.
Right? So for example, I believed that I was a responsible and healthy person, but what I was doing was not healthy and responsible because I was having unprotected sex with strangers and knowingly putting poison into my body. Like, So I believed that meth was bad, but I also did it. So I would convince myself it was okay when it wasn't. I would do mental gymnastics to try to justify why I would do it. Whether, it's just an experiment, a social experiment. It's okay as long as I do it every once in a blue moon, like the Puerto Rican man said. As long as I get enough water, as long as I have time to sleep the next day, like I would just make it okay. And I used to tell myself that I was like in excellent spiritual condition, but I don't think anybody who alters their physical mental state with synthetic drugs repeatedly are as spiritually strong as they think they are. Okay, so after the Black and Brown massacre, I moved out on my own and I tried to be healthy. For the most part, I was. I signed up to this organization called Mankind Project MKP. And it kind of helped me stay out of trouble for a little bit, temporarily, until the gaslighting took effect. Here was this organization that promised camaraderie and fellowship. But when I tried to go deep and talk about things that mattered to me or were important to me, nobody had the range or the intelligence or decency to like help me out with that. And I'm gonna do a little series about that because they're a little funny and I'm gonna put all they shit on blast. So for the beginning of 2017, I behaved or whatever and I was good. I was chilling, doing my thing. I like dated somebody real quick. I met somebody who I thought was really cool. We'll call him Lewis. Lewis was adopted, never had a stable life or upbringing. He showed up to the bar I was working at with some old man who was basically paying for everything. And I thought, oh my God, that's so cool. I want to do that. For some reason, I always used to want to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Like, I'm very attracted to people who are broken people who have suffered, who know what suffering is. I just find that trait really attractive for some reason. People who know what true pain is. So what happened? We hung out very briefly, me and Lewis. I remember once he slept over my house and all we did was cuddle. While we were going to sleep, I looked over and he was in the covers like happy that he was in bed with me. We didn't do anything, but I just thought that was the cutest, most endearing thing. And it felt good that somebody was happy to be around me or with me. Wow. So the only thing was that he was addicted, another meth addict, and he was unstable. He found a job. I think he got out of rehab or something, and he found a job and like couldn't even keep it. Like 2 weeks went by, and then he went to the bathhouse and started using, and he went MIA for a few days. And I was like, I entertained that. I was like, you can do this, this, and that. Like, there's this organization that can help you. I can get you free therapy, because I qualified for free therapy from the Orlando Black and Brown Massacre because I was somebody who was affected by it. I tried to put all my effort into something that had nothing to do with me, that was already really, really deep. Well, I don't remember how it happened, but the person that I was dating, something happened where they just both stopped talking to me at the same time. And that left me really, really vulnerable. I didn't have really great coping skills or the support really to deal with it. So in August of that year, I had a really, really strong urge to use again. I text a friend who was a he, and now he's a they, or they're a they.
They, them, theirs.
I texted this person who happened to be my closest friend at the time that I was having urges to use. And I was really hoping that he would invite me over or extend some kind of support in some way, you know, tell me to stay strong, tell me to do it. But they stopped. Never did. I don't remember what, but like, I think they just stopped texting. If I was a friend, if my friend told me that, you know, they're scared that they were going to use, if I was free, I would invite them over, I would go out with them. Or if I couldn't, I would just tell them like, yo, just chill, text me. But I didn't have that support. And I know it's not their responsibility, but still, I feel this type of way because a true friend would have done something anyway.
So, fuck them.
Ooh! So I remember I was working, and that's when I text them, and I didn't get a response by the time I was done with working. It was a Sunday. And so boom, I would go on the app and I found somebody who I used to hook up with, and I go to their house, his house. Wow. So at that point there was no tiptoeing around it or trying to limit the use. I was a seasoned party boy. I go to his house and I get unbelievably high. And the dude ends up kicking me out because he was paranoid and said I made him uncomfortable. And so I had to drive home high as fuck. I was so out of my mind that I started masturbating in my car driving. I think I was watching porn too. And I stop at a red light, jerking off. And the universe is real funny like this. Because I hear someone calling my name. Someone's calling my name and I look over, wow, and it's two gay guys that I know. And they're like, hi. And I'm like, I don't know if they saw me or they could tell or that like, or maybe like my leg was itchy. But I mean, that was trifling of the universe. Things like that, I take it as like the universe telling me not to trust those people because all of a sudden they show up at my most vulnerable moments. No. So the year goes by and I'm just full of like guilt and shame. I'm like, ugh, I did it again. I'm dirty, I'm disgusting. I went to New Jersey to visit my brother and he was holding the new baby. And the whole time, like I couldn't fully enjoy it because I just kept thinking like, oh, I'm so gross, I'm so dirty. This dirty guy holding a baby, like so pure. It felt uncomfortable, like I was unworthy of holding the baby. In December, I was hired to work for a major cruise line. So the next like 6 months were cool and exciting. I stayed out of trouble for the most part. But then around my birthday, a certified leader from MKP, who happens to be Cuban and was supposed to be my mentor, invited me to go kayaking for my birthday. And I was so excited. You know, I got a really fatherly and grandfatherly vibe from him, warmth from him, the kind that I desperately needed. And then a couple days before, he cancels. I can't remember why. But regardless, I was very disappointed. I was looking forward to it. So what do? I did what any normal person would do. I drove down to Miami to meet up with a Cuban and Brazilian daddy-son couple and shot liquefied meth into my rectum. It was the day before my birthday, and my sister was texting me, "Happy early birthday," and I was like, oh, I'm so gross. I'm such a loser. I'm so dirty. Like, I felt really bad. Like, it was supposed to be a happy, cute, moment and time, and, like, the dramatic irony of her not knowing, and I was addicted to the thrill, and again, the artificial intimacy, because in this particular case, I was seeking out the intimacy that was promised to me by going kayaking with another man in a healthy and safe setting. Real, innocent, pure, sweet, genuine, loving, kind, platonic intimacy. That was self-sabotage, period. Like, because one thing went wrong, then I'm gonna make sure that I have the control that I know something else is gonna be wrong. Like, if I can't succeed, let me be in control of my failure. Let me succeed good as hell at failure. Then right before I left to the ship on June 12th, on the 2-year mark after the Orlando Black and Brown massacre, I was going to the site to drop off a letter that I wrote the shooter. And then I got pulled over and I got a ticket for my expired tags. I was so unbelievably furious that I punish myself and I go on Grindr and search out the quickest, closest opportunity for self-medication. So I go out and party again. For the whole year that I was on the ship, I didn't use anything. I didn't use synthetic drugs, just weed during vacation. So in 2019, when I came home for good after the ship, I lived at my parents' house with my whole family, wherein I did not have my own room. I desperately needed alone time to process my entire experience. Why does life do this to me? Literally not even one day that I got back, my uncle and his family announced that they need a temporary place to stay while they look for a new apartment. This really, truly, and honestly fucked me up. In retrospect, I could have easily just rented an Airbnb. Seriously, like, the problems that I have easy solutions, but in the moment of it, I'm so blinded by my emotions and anxiety that I block the solutions out. I do not like being around extended family. I hate it. I hate who I am around them. I haven't fully worked out my shame to feel comfortable around them. I know some of them have to be low-key homophobic. It feels gross, it feels wrong, like small talk, and it is what it is for now. So I would just hate being home. I would hate coming home. I would stay in my car for hours. I was just triggered that I had no space for myself. I almost never have, and in the moment that I needed it, I didn't have it. So instead of going home one day, guess what I do? Once I party once, I trick myself into believing that it's okay. So the same pattern emerged. I would do it, then I would take a break. But this time, at the end of 2019, going into 2020, I really believed that that was the end at the time, because I was realizing that I was acting out of self-sabotage. I was ready and strong and self-aware enough to change for good. I got a new job on Disney property. I was making cute money again, started seeing a therapist again, and working on my health. It went on like that for a few months. Then March 2020 came along and everything stopped. And it was fine. I started off really healthy, but then the insidious thoughts emerged again. I hated that I didn't have my own room. I really resented the fact that once I actually started to get my life back on track, like, for what? Like, for what? And the excuse I told myself that no amount of progress I make makes any kind of difference. That whatever I do doesn't matter. That when I am unable to evolve, because when I do, something else happens to block me every time, is the lie that I told myself. Not having a space was unbearable. My unhealed family was very, very hard for me to be around, and vice versa. So it was easier just to numb. I kept wasting my life away, lowering my energy. The crazy thing about 2020 though was that I would do it and not feel guilty about it. And that's a little scary because I think that's when the true addiction starts to kick in, because it was being normalized. Until everything came full circle and the universe gives me hints and guides me if I pay attention. Okay, it looks like there's gonna have to be a part 4 because goodness gracious. This is part 3, we're gonna make a part 4.
We'll be back for part 4. We'll be back for part 4 in a little bit. I drove down to Miami to meet up with a Cuban and Brazilian daddy son couple and shot liquefied meth into my rectum. Dios mío. Okay.